I've just finished playing Cuba Libra as the government in a solo game, and I'm about to embark on a second game, as I enjoyed it so much, this time playing as the 26 July forces, Fidel Castro. And looking at the design notes, my objectives here are to cultivate as much opposition to Batista as possible, and at the same time just being as much of a nuisance to the other rival factions as possible. So I'll be playing this solo again, and I will do some updates at the end of each propaganda round. This is the situation after the first propaganda round. The government are at 16 total support with 32 resources. The Directorio have only 1 population score with no bases yet on the map and 8 resources. The Syndicate have 4 open casinos and 36 resources. Myself, as 26 July, have 14 opposition and bases and 10 resources. It's certainly felt a different game so far to the one previous where I played as the government. 26 July are really an altogether different kettle of fish to the government. And I felt that the government have been the biggest threat to me so far. And I think at the moment they are probably in the stronger position with their 32 resources and 16 support. Just looking at the map itself, me as the 26 July, I've still got a strong presence in Sierra Maestra, and I've got a weak presence in Oriente and Camagüey, built up some strength in Las Villas, and building up strength in La Habana, wanting to do something there. But that place I feel is always under a lot of threat from government forces in Havana and the other factions there. Directorio have had a very weak start, which I'm not complaining about, and the Syndicate are a concern because they've got 36 resources, and it doesn't take much for them to get those casinos on the map. And as for the government, they're strong in Santiago de Cuba, Camagüey and Havana, in essence just strengthening their cities. But they've got a few cubes off map in the available forces box, which is good for myself. And US Alliance is at 3, which is reluctant. So that's the position at the end of the first propaganda round. This is the situation at the end of the second propaganda round, and just taking a look at the score track. I'm out front at the moment with 19 opposition and bases, followed by the government at 16 support, and further down the track the Directorio are at 4 population and bases, and the Syndicate have 3 open casinos. In terms of resources, the Syndicate are well off at 47, the government are doing very well at 38. I'm okay with 17, followed by the Directorio at 15, and that's the resources and the score track at the moment. Taking a look at the map of Cuba, government are maintaining control of the cities, but haven't made too much headway elsewhere. This is just before the reset has taken place, so their mountain troops in the Sierra Madras are going to be heading back to the city shortly, same as the ones in Camagüey. And in La Habana, that has been a huge tussle between all the insurgents there, on and off. That's where most of the action in the game has been taking place. Elsewhere there's a fairly even spread of Directorio and 26 July, with the Syndicate having consistent control in Pinar del Rio. They haven't really appeared anywhere else in Cuba, the Syndicate, other than up in Havana and Pinar del Rio. And in terms of government bases, the government struggled to get their bases out at all, so far anyway. And I've felt quite comfortable so far with how things have gone as the 26th of July. Felt like I've been able to put down any threats relatively quickly and mitigate them. And the Directorio haven't really been an issue so far. I did have the Pact of Caracas out for quite some time, which helped a lot as well. So that's the situation at the end of the second propaganda round. I'm just about to reset and I'll head into the next round. This is the situation at the end of the third propaganda round. Looking at the victory point track. The syndicate have 6 open casinos. Directorio are on 7. Government are on 13. And 26th July, myself, are on 14. In terms of resources, Directorio are 21, 26th July 23, Government are on 30, and the Wealthy Syndicate are at the max. Taking a look at the map, there's been a bit of action this round. The Syndicate are in there in Havana working closely with the corrupt police. Again, the government have maintained control of all the cities and have got into some of the provinces now with strength. The Directorio have finally appeared in Cuba in moderate strength right across the board, and 26th July have maintained their position a little bit, been curtailed back, but have lost control of all the provinces they had control of. So we've taken a hit in that respect there as well, because again the syndicate have that presence up by Havana there at La Habana and Pinar del Rio, and have just struggled to get anywhere else. And I'm interested to know if that's a common theme or not. Let me know your thoughts on that one there. And I'm not sure if the government have got those bases on the map at any stage so far. So that's interesting. So that's the situation report prior to the redeployment of the government forces and the resetting. As we head into the fourth and final round, can the 26th of July stave off a victory by the other syndicates? I think the other factions, I should say, I think the syndicate are a real threat with 49 resources and 6 open casinos. The Directorio are now becoming a bit of a threat, approaching their threshold. Government has been curtailed back a little bit, and that's because their support in Havana was downgraded, which was excellent, but at any stage that could pop up as well. So it's going to be a very interesting final round. Okay, I've just concluded the final propaganda round, and let's just take a look at the situation in Cuba before we look at the score. Starting off at Pinar del Rio, a lot of action happening there, also in its neighbouring province, heading down to Matanzas. It's very quiet there. Las Vegas, Camagüey, Oriente, Sierra Maestra, down to Santiago de Cuba. So plenty of action all over the board. Significantly, Havana had lost all support. The cities otherwise remained pretty much in government control. Yeah, the action really spread out in this game. Okay, taking a look at the scores. The government really suffered, with ending with 5 total support. So 5 from 18 is a -13 margin. The casinos had 7 open casinos, so 7 from 7 was a 0 margin. Directorio had 5 pop plus bases, less 9, so they were -4 margin. And myself, July 26, was at 14 opposition and bases from 15, so -1. So that was a win to the syndicate with a 1-point margin. It was close, and again I felt like, as I did when playing the government, that I had a shot at winning this game, and which was really refreshing after some random stuff going on in Andean Abyss. And I really enjoyed playing 26 July as opposed to the government for a change. So that is the result in my second game of Cuba Libra. Really like this game. Plays really quickly, and I can see it getting even quicker as I get more familiar with the cards and the system. Nice and compact, and all round excellent effort. So that's the 26th July, losing out to the syndicate by -1, and Cuba is being run by the mob.